Hey, so I think I've mentioned this before in one of my other videos, but I think it's really important. And for many of us, we're lucky to be nobodies. We're just everyday people. And the reason why I say lucky for us is because we're not celebrities or politicians or people in the public eye whose garbage gets dredged up decades later for what reason, God only knows. Somebody got pissed at them, wanted to, you know, give them a bad reputation, so they call a newspaper and make up a bunch of bullshit, or maybe it's even true, God only knows, right? But the reality of it is that if they had been a nobody, a civilian, and somebody brought up those allegations or brought up these memories, most people wouldn't give a shit. I mean, we all have done shitty things, and we all do shitty things. And a lot of the times we do the things that we do because we just don't know better. And at the time, it seems like the best thing to do. And as we learn and as we grow and we realize that it doesn't actually help us, or it's not really for our highest good, or we become more aware of how our actions affect other people, we make better choices. But could you imagine being a celebrity? And the whole point I want to make in this video is that because you are going to have some memories come up on your healing journey, whether you're healing from trauma, whether you're doing a spiritual level up, whatever it is you're doing right now, you're going to find that as you go through, sometimes, like recently again, when I do these I've reached a point where most of my healing's done. So when I do an energetic level up, it's because I've actively been doing practices to level my vibration, right? Meditations, trying to eat simple, clean, not as much, more water, blah, blah, blah. And then I will have like what I consider an energetic level up, meaning that I kind of felt my way into the level up, and it will actually purge stored emotions in my body. And sometimes it comes out as aches and pains and nausea. But I have this thing where in order to increase the speed in which these things process, I will actually meditate and just like embrace the feeling. I'll dive right into it as if it was like a pool, like an ocean. I'd be like head first and I'm going in. And I do. And sometimes when I do that, I will get the odd memory that pops up. Now, this is important because you have to be able to acknowledge the memory, but realize it's not about, the memory's not coming up so you judge yourself or compare yourself from then until now. It's not a criticism, it's none of those things. The reason why the memory comes up is because it's specifically attached to the feeling, the emotion that you need to release. Right? It's not coming up because there's something, I mean, maybe there's something in there, another lesson, but it'll come up again if that's the case. But usually if it's coming up when you're having an energetic level up and you're just releasing stored energy, it's just, you just need to allow the emotions to come through and flow and just go. And often when that's over, if I did have a memory that was jogged, it kind of becomes fragmented or it just disappears because the memory wasn't the point. It was the emotion attached to it. Right? So if you can forgive yourself for anything that society has condemned you for, that's a great step. But instead of just forgiving yourself, you need to understand that we're always doing the best we can in the moment. We really are. And I know we want to judge and criticize and say, oh, well, they could do better, they know better, blah, 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 blah. But we're all, until we become aware enough of the fact that we aren't following our highest good 99% of the time, until we consciously choose to, because it takes practice and it takes effort, and these are skills you have to develop at first, because we're not programmed that way from birth in this society, so we have to deprogram and reprogram. But you're going to find that each time you're willing to go through this process of forgiving yourself and letting go the things that you've done in the past, if it doesn't just feel better, what it is it's acknowledging that you're acknowledging your own growth, okay? You're honoring your growth. Like, yes, I did that. yeah, it wasn't the best thing, but I know better now. So now I can do better. So in a way, instead of condemning yourself, it's like, yeah, I fucking made some really fucking shitty choices. I did some really shitty shit. But I know how to do better now, and I'm going to. That is magic, right? That's where the magic happens. It's the same thing with kids. When you want your kids to do better, you can't just give them shit and be like, why aren't you doing better? Unless you've taken the time to show them, do it with them, help them. Once you've done that several times, because the younger they are, the more you have to practice, then maybe you can hold them accountable for choosing not to do better when they knew they could. But if you didn't know you could do better, why are you beating yourself up for it? Especially when we're in crowds, large crowds of people, or you're part of, say, a community of some kind, we tend to get caught up in the energy, into the thrall, into the throes of whatever's going on. And I think I'm a weird person because I don't tend to get sucked into crowds of like large group energy. I tend to instantly retract and be like, why is everyone doing the same thing? What the fuck is going on? But that's just my reaction. Possibly years of trauma, or maybe that's just my personality. I don't know. But other people, they just get consumed. Like, it takes them over, and they just go with the flow. And I think a lot of it has to do with self-awareness. When you're not very self-aware of what's happening to you, around you, right? It's kind of funny to watch. I shouldn't, because some people don't like what they do when they get caught up in these energies. Afterwards, they feel bad, but they're just, I don't know, they're just having an experience. It's a happening. I don't see any shame in it. I don't see any reason to judge it. It's an experience they had. And if they do become self-aware over time, it's something they can reflect on and learn from and grow. So, I don't know. Just be kind to yourself, okay? And if you happen to be somebody who is a public figure and you find that people are determined to try to make you look shitty for whatever reason, usually jealousy, petty fear. Jealousy is usually a big one, especially if you're a celebrity. Often it's like you had something they wanted, or they had something they wanted from you. And then, of course, you don't comply. So then it's like, well, if you're not going to do what I want, I'm going to make you look as bad as possible because I'm a giant, turdy asshole who's still in grade 5. Or they're looking for their own 5 minutes of fame, even if they have to do it the shittiest way possible. I just don't understand why people seem to think that you can actually judge somebody based on their past choices and it be credible. The things I did 20 years ago, I would not do now, but I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago. I was a kid. I barely feel like a grown-up right now. Do you know what I mean? I hate that part of our society, that we seem to think, well, don't judge the book by its cover, judge a book by its actions. Yes, my actions now, not my actions 20 years ago, not my actions even yesterday. If you're gonna judge, if you feel the need that you have to judge, by the way, when you're judging, it's a reflection on how you feel about yourself. So be careful what you judge, because it means you're judging yourself, and you're probably judging yourself a lot harder than you're judging the other people, which is really more of a sign of your mental well-being than anything. So be careful how you judge, because I might just judge you for judging me. Nah, I wouldn't judge you for judging me, but still, this is getting complicated. The point is, don't judge yourself, okay? And don't judge others. Just know that whatever happened in the past was you in the past. It's over. We can all move on, can't we? I think I can. Can you? Because you're not even going to be the same person tomorrow that you are right now. Isn't that crazy? Okay. Anyways, have a great day. Bye.